rabbi?
No, you said you wanted to talk to the rabbi, so you have to go call one. I can't help you.
You can't help me?
No, I can't help you, sorry.
Tonight, 2 investigators calling out 911 abuse. Non-emergency calls are wasting the time of dispatchers, costing money, and potentially putting life-threatening callers on hold.
Dispatchers want people to stop calling 911 for things that are not real emergencies. Investigative reporter Brooks Jarosz found many people in the Bay Area are using the emergency line as their personal customer service line. Brooks.
That's right. Just in San Francisco alone, a single call comes into 911 every minute of every day. That's not an emergency at all. Tonight, we're taking you inside the dispatch center so you can see and hear why nearly half of all calls every year are for unnecessary or ridiculous reasons.
This is 911. We received a call and we have officers on scene. Are you there?
When there's an emergency, these are the people who answer the call.
San Francisco Police, dispatch 162.
2 investigates found here in San Francisco, 40% of the time, dispatchers are dealing with those who never should have called 911.
San Francisco 911, what's the exact location of your emergency?
It's not an emergency. I need some little quick information.
Okay, let me get you to the police line. Stay on the line.
No, hold on. Hello?
Let me give you the phone number. That way you can talk with them.
Dawn Mahoney has been that voice on the other end for decades. She's seen an alarming increase in calls that are clearly not emergencies.
My car got towed and I'm trying to figure out where is my car.
San Francisco gets 3,500 calls a day, and we found roughly 1,400, almost half, are unnecessary dials. That adds up to more than 250,000 calls a year.
You just never know what you're going to get.
San Francisco 911, what's the exact location of your emergency?
I think we just had an earthquake.
Is anybody injured?
No.
Okay, I'm going to let you go.
It's those calls that could cause a delay for someone who really needs help.
Dialing 911 to them is easier than looking up a non-emergency number.
Their non-emergency number is 510-777-3333.
Okay, can you transfer me or should I just call?
Off of 911, it would be best if you just go ahead and call.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
With dispatchers tied up, we saw one 911 call sitting on hold for nearly a minute. But San Francisco isn't alone. It's a problem across the Bay Area and the country.
You have to go from, hearing a child die in your ear right here to taking the phone call of the woman who thinks that the rap music next door is the worst thing that ever happened to her.
Rachel Herron is a retired East Bay dispatcher. She says with more cell phones comes more calls, hang-ups, and headaches.
Hello?
Alameda County has seen a spike in calls too. 20% of the time are for unnecessary reasons. Even pocket dials are constantly taking up more of dispatchers' time.
Hello?
Hi, you're phoned out 911. Do you have an emergency?
I'm sorry, we were trying to figure out how to add an emergency contact, and I inadvertently lied the thing.
Okay.
It's illegal to have a charcoal grill in the park here.
Then there are the well-known calls, like what played out between Jennifer Schulte, nicknamed Barbecue Becky, and 2 African-American men grilling. Calls tied up an Oakland emergency line for nearly 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'd like to report that someone is illegally using a charcoal grill in a non-designated area in Lake Merritt Park.
She argued with a second dispatcher, pleading to send police.
Well, I don't know.
Panic over a barbecue. I don't understand.
First responders may have to show up, even if it doesn't seem like a serious situation. Still, dispatchers can prioritize where to send resources. They say these calls, like the one at Lake Merritt, are nothing new.
Oh, that kind of call, again, every hour, every day.
Just like the woman now called Permit Patty in San Francisco, who called on an 8-year-old African-American girl.
Hi, I'm having someone that does not have a vendor permit that's selling water across from the ballpark.
While there is a California law banning 911 abuse, prosecutions are rare. We checked with other Bay Area cities like Oakland and San Jose. Both don't track wasteful calls to 911. Bottom line, dispatchers want you to call, but only if it's a real emergency.
County emergency.
Hello.
Hi, how can I help you?
I have no internet.
You what?
I have no internet.
Okay. Not having internet is not a matter for 911. Is there somebody else that you can call?
I don't know.
Every dispatcher we spoke with told us to encourage you to add the non-emergency number into your cell phone. That way you have it when you need it. Also, if you need city services that do not involve police, fire, or ambulance, you want to call 311, not 911. Now, we've put all those non-emergency numbers on the To Investigate section of KTVU.com.
What a fascinating, some of the calls there are just mind-boggling.
I have no internet, I know.
And this is not just in the Bay Area. This is across the country. We heard one where there was a man complaining about the clams he got were too small. That was in Florida. There was one in Indianapolis where it was all about a guy who wanted to know what to do because his lasagna didn't have any more cheddar cheese. So just ridiculous reasons to call. They're amusing, but if you think about calls on hold, we had a producer earlier today that told me she called 911 when crossing the Bay Bridge, and there was someone that was potentially jumping, and she couldn't get through. She got a message saying, try your call again later.
Yeah, that's the real emergency there when people need to get through in a matter of seconds. Brooks, thanks very much.
You're welcome.